because I had a young guy talking to me at the throwdown, and he was telling me, like, this was his 15th Derby, and, he goes out there, he's 100% game right away. I'm like, you're doing it wrong then.
Right.
You're doing it absolutely wrong. You want to have that anxiety. You want to have that butterfly. You want to have that question of ability. You want to have, and it only makes you better as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, an old man told me one time, he says, if you're perfect, you can never be better.
Right.
That's all the better you're ever going to be.
Hey, yo, it's Cash on the Hood, your favorite podcast. I'm here with my main man, Steven Sickles. But check it out. Before any of that, I need y'all to please like, share, and subscribe. Without you, we can't do this. And, of course, we can't do any of this without our main man, Brian Cottington, behind the decks. There, he's our main engineer of Cash on the Hood. Him and Gerardo help us out. Brian has Cinema Psychos podcast. He's nearing 2 million episodes. I'm sorry, 250 episodes. And he's a total champ. All right, who do I got to my left?
Jeff Fatty Clark, Columbus, Ohio.
Mike Tix, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Steven?
Steven Sickles, Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
That's right. Look at my eyes, now at my lips.
old freaky, creepy guy over there.
Switching seats, Tix.
So,
quit staring at me, Jason.
So if you heard episode 1, we're just carrying on here to episode 2. Cash on the Hood is how you buy a car, how Mike Tix buys a car. He puts cash on the hood and he says, get your money. That's his negotiating tactic, But that's so we were talking about Demolition Derby. We were talking about how these dudes makes a ton of money off of catalytic converters. This episode, we want to talk about what is TrackShotLive.
It's the best product or live stream there is, I think.
Oh, absolutely the best out there. I mean, that's just opinion. I mean, opinions are like the good Lord's backside that they gave us. Some are bigger than others, but like I said before, we'll look at everyone and listen to everyone.
Right.
So we're totally cool with that.
Absolutely.
Steven, you've been on TrackShotLive a few times as a guest.
Have I?
Haven't you?
A couple times, yeah.
We edit it. When he comes, we got to edit it.
Yeah.
Well, Steven said he didn't even want to be on the camera with you, Fatty.
Well, he's got a face for radio.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm still disappointed. Fatty said he was running with me that one time.
Listen, Steven, we've talked about this.
He blew my tire out.
If you look, I think you ran into me and blew your own tire because I was almost to a complete stop.
I don't believe it.
So I thought,
never would have happened.
And listen, to be honest with you, because you can hear everything in the Most Wanted Fine Arts class. And when I backed up, I heard, I was like, oh, he's going to hate me. And as soon as I looked around, here he come, you know what he did? He come right around, knocked my tire off. I was like, damn it, Sickles.
You can hear everything in that class, but at TJ shows you cannot see everything.
No, you could not see nothing out there.
It was so dry.
It was bad.
Right.
It was bad.
Whose car?
That's why they call it Dead Man, I mean,
you ain't lying.
Slightly risky.
Yes.
Wait, was it Decker that got out and tried to shut his trunk lid?
Yeah, well, he didn't wire
during the Derby.
Like, he just rolled the windows down. Right before we pulled on, he was like, Fatty, look at this. And he hit all the windows, and all of them come up in the doors. And I was like, you're supposed to strip it. He said, watch this, I am. And he rolled them right back down. And he never took the side glass out of them.
So this is one of the first times I was actually nervous in a car because most times people are like, oh, you'll drive a small car against big cars, vans, SUVs. Yeah, no problem. I could not see at the beginning of that Derby, Fatty, 10 feet behind me.
No.
So I'd back up to where I hit this dirt cloud, and I wouldn't make contact, and I'd just be like, F this, I'm getting out. And I would just patiently wait for, like, I just envisioned a caravan, the back end of a caravan, appearing through this smoke cloud and just plowing me in the driver's door.
Well, we just kept pulling up to the track shot trailer because Ben was pretty much driving me and Decker. He was like, because you couldn't, like you said, you couldn't see nothing. It was bad. It was bad.
I'm sitting here listening to two professional Derby drivers, all right? Steven Sickles is a little bit younger than Fatty. Fatty has got a ring. Steven's got a ring. And these guys are grinning like kids with the ice cream cone in their hand, talking about the most simple class of Demolition Derby. All right, you guys, these are two professionals talking about this, laughing, giggling, joking, and they made history of an event that cost them next to nothing. They probably made money off of those two cars.
We did. You know, I had an '07 Crown Vic, converters paid for it. You know, I think we had $400 in the car itself.
I did not, because people around me for some reason don't sell me
Sickles,
cars
you
with
won like
converters
3
on them.
classes that night. You won like 3 classes at Dead Man. For sure you made money.
Yeah. I'm not. I was forgetting about the purse money. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was totally forgetting them.
Totally forgetting
interviewing
a pocket
him.
full of checks.
Like if Sickles is going to run 3 classes, they got to separate him because I don't want to interview him twice in a row. That's what I did too. I was like, well, hell.
He did. He won back to back.
Back to back. I had to interview him.
And I asked him if he's ever done that before.
Becker, right?
Good point. Good point. You do.
I made sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was a good point. Yeah.
I was out on the track with Steven Sickles, and I was like, dude, you were like winning back to back. And I was like, you ever done that before? And he just shrugs his shoulders like, yeah.
Well, yeah, he was like, I need to get this because I got another car to run here in like 25 minutes.
He's like, hurry up.
I just had to get in a third car.
You're right. What happened to you out there in that third car, Steven?
So I didn't do so well in the heat, and I ended up having to come through the consi.
Right.
And building 3 cars at once, sometimes things get overlooked. Sometimes I do my checks and balances. So in the compact, we are allowed steering columns. Generally, I don't have issues with Camry steering columns. So I'm like, that's on the back of the list. So I ran the factory column and I ended up breaking it in the consi.
Oh, I see.
So a lot of people didn't see. I ran 5 heats that weekend.
Yeah.
And Sunday, like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the garage putting a steering column in his car to get it ready because I had to be there fairly early because I was running the first and the second class before that. So I threw my column in there, which was a built column. I forget which company I bought it from. But what I did was I couldn't get the column to slide down over the rack correctly, and I thought I had the nut tight enough, and it started to want to strip. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to push it. It's good. It was not.
It was not good. It was not good.
Every 2 to 3 hits in that car, my actual steering column was popping off the rack, and I'd have to wait because Dead Man Derby is a pretty aggressive derby.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd have to wait till I felt comfortable, which almost never, to put my hand down through the firewall and reattach the steering column to the rack.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, there was a good bit of red flag. So I'd go without steering for 2 or 3 minutes. Red flag, I'd be like, oh, sweet, I got steering. Make a couple hits. No steering for 2 or 3 minutes.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
You know what? There's certain holes in life you just don't put your hand in, and that sounds like Steven found one of those.
Yeah, I wasn't risking it during action. So
no.
That's dangerous, man.
Yeah, and I'm a large guy in a small car, and there's a full cage around me. So, I mean, there was only a window
to get up underneath
to get through there. That metal was... I mean, I didn't have much room to put my arm in it.
Right.
Did you just see that fist that Steven made? It reminds me of, you ever heard of the way that, you club a raccoon, put something shiny down the hole of the log, their hand.
Something catch and you're done. You're stuck in there.
They're stuck.
Yeah.
That raccoon will not let go of that silver dollar. It wants that shiny thing, but it don't fit out that hole.
I was trying to get my steering.
It's super funny when we sit here and we talk about these different little incidents and occurrences during Demolition Derby and just things that the general people in the stands would never hear, never understand.
Oh, no.
So as a couple of guys just sitting here as buddies and we're talking about it, and you're talking about little incidents that is, we're going to call it common life to us in Demolition Derby, but the general population outside of that dirt berm have never seen it, never understood it.
Right.
Yeah, and I had like 10 to 15 people probably after that. What was going on? I mean, we saw you reaching down, but like to me, it was like you couldn't tell I didn't have steering.
Right. I've been beat by more mechanical failures than I ever have another driver.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And sometimes that's the repercussions of your own doing sometimes, and that was what happened there.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is the cars that are done in the shop a week before the Derby are the ones that fail me.
Every time.
It's that mechanical thing. I want to be pushed to that very last minute. And every one of my people that help me in my shop, my naders, he will beat me down. And it's like now after, 15 years of building cars with me, he just knows that this is the way it's got to be.
That's
for
how
me
I am too. I'm last minute too.
Oh, stable and steady.
Yeah.
You cannot beat chaos and crazy.
Procrastination is a blessing and a curse.
Yes. Yes. I've always did my best on my worst day. You get up in the morning, you go to back your car out, trainee goes out, you got a train change the tranny. You thinking you ain't gonna do worth a shit. You go there and you win the whole thing. That happens every time with me.
The worst hangover in the world. So I got somebody pouring me into the passenger seat of the pickup truck. They loaded my derby car on the trailer. We made history the night before. I know we had enough to kill the best village. And awesome. There we go, pulling into that derby track, and like you sobered up, you got that hangover, you got 17 Advil and 3 Tylenol in you and a gallon of water, and it's like, let's go do this thing.
Derby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once that first hit in a derby car, a lot of people don't see outside. Once that first hit, all of that goes away though too.
Oh yeah.
So
here's what do you like when you're sitting on the line and they're getting ready to say go? What's going through your mind, Steven?
I always I even procrastinate this. So when I'm in the car right before I run, I always say a prayer to the good man up above.
Yep.
Amen.
Yep.
I don't ask for me to win ever.
Safety.
Right.
I ask for my safety, the safety of the drivers and the spectators. I do ask for my vehicle to perform to the best of its ability, whether that puts me in first, last.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's the last thing that goes through my mind. I do that like as the countdown's going on. Half the time I'm thinking about that, and that just gets my mind to that point of that first hit, and then it's just game on. It's when I'm in that car, as soon as that first hit, my head, it feels like it's on a swivel. I mean, and it just doesn't stop. I'm running like different scenarios of everything that can happen.
You gotta be 10 steps ahead.
Like, what if Fatty rips my tire off? I'm gonna bust his. That's right.
Ridiculous. I swear, I'm running against Steven. I'm knocking the whole tire clear off his car next time. The whole thing.
You know what though? And them front wheel drives are so delicate, especially.
Dude, I felt bad.
As soon as that tire went out, I'm like, I'm done already.
Well, then he come and got me, and I was like, I'm done already.
And you know what? I end up winning the Derby, and that tire is just, there's nothing left of it. I'm like, it didn't
You should have gave me
me
half. You should give me half for traction control.
It did not affect me. I don't know.
Right.
I just don't get it sometimes.
Well, it's still better to be pissed off right away about it, So then, so the outcome, if it changed one way or the other, and be like, well, damn, Fatty. Or,
if he wouldn't have won, dude, I'd never hear the end of this thing.
Fatty's lucky that 15-year-old junked him.
Oh, dude, if
Fatty came down close to that top 3, he was getting it before Decker.
Me and Decker, we already had it planned. We was ganging sickles. He was getting it.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, he's lucky the old 15-year-old got me, because I was going to hold him and Decker was going to fold him. You know what I mean?
That little Terry Betty, you know what? He didn't tell you. I sponsored him.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I went down and I hit that poor kid, and I was like, there ain't no way he's going to come. I was like, so I went down and I got hung up. When I looked back, that boy was coming.
Great
dude.
Kid, and what you don't realize,
kid.
we say 15-year-old, that kid has more experience than most adults.
Yeah, dude. I tell you what, he stayed in that corner the whole time, and I hit him that one time. He was like, well, it's on like Donkey Kong now. And
he's one of my favorite youth drivers, because he can drive smart or he can turn it up.
And I told him, I said, you go tell the whole world you drove through me. Because he did. I mean, he drove clear through my Crown Vic with that minivan. It was awesome. 15-year-old kid. You talk about me and Sickles being good at this and stuff. A 15-year-old kid drove clear through me in Sowers' class.
That's pretty cool.
And it's been the biggest class at every big derby in the country that has been represented at. I mean, Minnesota Throwdown, Iron City Nationals, TJ's Derby. It's a great learning experience. That's how you get the guy out of the grandstands that like I want to run derbies. That's the class for you, bro.
You know what? I got to ask you something, Fatty. When you're pulling onto that track, you got butterflies in your stomach. You've been at some of the biggest shows. You've won some of the biggest shows. You've competed at every level possible. What about it, man?
I'll tell you what. I've been running for 25 years, and my dad told me a long time ago. He said, Jeffrey, it's all right to have butterflies. Just teach them to fly in formation. So that's what I try to do. I still get so, even when I drove them with these guys at Deadman, nervous as hell. I'm out there with Decker and Sickles. You got to have a good performance, Yeah, and when you're at, I'm not saying I'm a big name guy or Steven is, but when you're at that level, you almost have to perform well, So you're in there and you're like, let's show them why I'm here.
Oh, you beat yourself up mentally if you don't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous on how hard a driver is on himself. They're 90% of the time they're their biggest critic. So.
And that's one of those things. I asked that question because I had a young guy talking to me at the Throwdown, and he was telling me this was his 15th Derby, and he goes out there, he's 100% game right away. I'm like, you're doing it wrong then.
Right.
You're doing it absolutely wrong. You know, you want to have that anxiety. You want to have that butterfly. You want to have that question of ability. You want to have, and it only makes you better as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, you know, an old man told me one time, he says, if you're perfect, you can never be better.
Right.
That's all the better you're ever going to be. And it's like, I sit there and I think about that comment in life in so many different ways. And it's like, whether it be cash on the hood hustle, whether it be selling a sculpture in Miami, whether it be going out and winning a derby somewhere, it's just remember, if you're perfect, you can never be better. So you got to be satisfied with what you have.
Right. And I think if I ever lost that feeling, them butterflies and stuff, I don't think I'd want to do it anymore.
I'm done.
You
I'm
know
done.
what I mean?
See, and I don't know, because I don't get that feeling. I don't disagree with anything Tick said about the being perfect, but I don't get that anymore.
But you got to have some type of emotion.
Oh, I definitely have emotion,
before you
but I
pull out
get a ton of joy out of it, and I also enjoy the mental release of after that first hit that I talked about. That You're not worrying about everything else going on in the world. You're strictly on that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As soon as you make that first hit, everything changes.
Yeah. Then it is the game.
Oh, it's real then.
It is the game.
It's real.
You know, it's like, you know.
It's real.
It's like that pitcher throwing that 100-mile fastball.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always in the car just scared, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I here? How did I get to this moment? You're so stupid. I'm like, then I hunker down and put my ears between my shoulders. I'm like, I'm going to absorb this first hit, and then I do my best to survive.
Right.
I never have had a built car, you know what I mean? So I haven't had my butt handed to me my whole life by Casey Smith and everybody else. I just try to survive Demolition Derby.
Jason, let's backtrack to a couple weeks ago in California. Pulling into that feature after watching some of them suicides drive the way they did. What was going through your head pulling onto that track?
Are you talking about the one that you and I were in California?
The one I drove myself into a moat, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Chino, California Derby.
Yeah, I believe
with
it was
the Delaras.
the Southern California guys. I don't know if they're from the San Diego area or something, but they drove the white suicides, and I mean, I don't think they had a brake pedal.
It was
How'd they stay out of the moat?
just run out.
Putting you in it.
My goal was, okay, find Steven Sickles and do what the national champ would do. So I'm just like, my goal was to stay in the middle for as long as I could. And then I think because the feature lasted so long, I started faded towards the moat. And like once you started fading toward the moat, then a local took me out.
Oh, they knew exactly what to do with us.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
It's crazy. It's a moat.
Do they do that track like that every year? So it's
as far as I know,
pretty much a weapon then at that point.
Yeah, that's 100% why we went, because
like
I've never had a strategy where like if Steven and I were like, let's just work better at this, where we just 2-on-1 people into the moat.
Right.
And that's what, but we were just trying to survive. I was like, wow, if we could get a top 5 in California.
You go out of state, people's eyeballing you when you pull in, especially when you come from Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, we had the spray painted cars. And
they're like, the guys from Pennsylvania.
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
They're thinking we're professionals, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I'm not saying we're not, but like that's, and if we had a guy come in from, say, Kansas to come run a local show here, I'd be like, he's not playing around. I mean,
right. He's
like if a Canadian shows up, that car's built. It's super built. What was that dude's name?
Unless Ron McClung, he's about an 8-hour builder.
Yeah, he builds it at the Derby.
Yeah, he
I like
tracks
that.
it.
But we lost
Ron
to a
McClung
Canadian.
a ton, but he's not going to be the overbuilt guy.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, he'll be the one driving at the end. That man knows how to drive junk down to the end.
And he'll junk them, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, completely junk
But if you look at the Rick Clark, the Les Johnson, the...
them guys are top notch.
I think the guy's
Bobby Cass
last
used
name
to come
was
down, I believe. He used to have some good cars, if I remember.
Yeah. Yep. Rick's boy did real good in the youth.
I was going to say, Rick, yeah.
Well, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Well, I don't know. He hits a little more than Rick does. Did you see him out at the Turkey Derby?
I don't know. How many derbies up in New York have you went to? I've seen Rick have to run hard.
I haven't seen him
boys
run
don't
in
give
there.
him no slack.
Right.
Mhm.
First time I met Rick, he snuck down to this little dirt area at a speedway in Ohio. Paid $5,000 to win or something like that. Nobody knew who the Dark Knight was. That's what it said on his roof side. I was like, who the hell's this guy? Dude, he come in there and schooled all them fools. It was awesome. He was laughing the whole way out, counting that money. It was awesome.
Thank God the currency exchange is way better on the
Right.
U.S. side here. Doing good on that W.
Yeah, he did real good. I forget his buddy that used to come down with him. Because he used to have a guy that ran around. I forget his name.
Yeah.
He'd come down with him too. But yeah, he schooled him. It was awesome.
If I could ask for one thing, is for me to be better at names and everything like that. And I apologize to everybody that I'm so bad with names.
Oh,
like
it's horrible.
I'll take like the Tori Schutte of the world, the Josh Decker, Skin Dog. They are so good at names. Like they meet them and they know them. And, you know, like Josh can remember like all these statistics and everything. Tori Schutte, you know, I mean, retired veteran. He knew how to process names and how to do things. And that is a talent that I wish that I had just a tiny little bit. So everybody out there in Track Shot world, Cash on the Hood world, I apologize if I forget your name. Don't be embarrassed. Call me a dink that I forgot your name. Just remind me. And it's like, but I honor those people in life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm horrible with names.
Well, speaking of honor, and you just said Skinny, so salute Skinny. I know he's gonna be listening.
Yeah.
Love you, homie.
Yep. Best wishes and health and everything like that. If you guys are watching this later on, you know, go back to it. You know, it's we talk about saying that prayer on that track. You know, I do my cross and my love to God, and you know, if just take a minute and talk to that man and just let him know that there's somebody out there that needs just a little bit of health, man. It's that's Skin Dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening, buddy, we love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But so at Blizzard Bash, I was painting in the barn, and your girlfriend comes up. She's like, "Hey, someone's beating your car, and they ran into a truck out in the parking lot." And I was like, "Oh God." Oh,
no, your first reaction was like, "No, you're lying."
It was. I don't really remember my, but I just I ran to the edge of the barn, and I could see Skinny's arms like waving in the air, and I was like, he's got
Coming off
this.
the rear tires of his Buick.
Right. I'm like, he'll handle that situation. So I come down. So I finished painting all the cars for the Not for Hire team and the GWC, and I come down there, and like everyone's looking real happy, and they're drinking Coors Lights, and everyone. So it's your buddy Jess Williams. Then like
California, Northern Cali.
All right, so like I'm like everyone's real happy for art car being blasted into a truck in this parking lot, and they're like, "Oh no, he missed the truck by like a millimeter and hit my trailer, and he only bent the little front of the trailer, so we charged Redbeard 60 Coors Lights for the damage." So I had a 2-hour window where I thought the art car had blasted a Super Duty in the parking lot.
Redbeard wrecked it.
Yes.
And that was the Olds art car that you got.
Yeah,
with
the
headers and
OG
stuff?
one. Yeah,
I didn't know Redbeard wrecked it. I did not know.
they were
that.
beating. They were trying to beat them the BF Goodriches right off that car. And they shot right over the curb. He said the throttle stuck. I've had that car 10 years. I don't even know what that means. Like what? Of course, I never tried to spin the tires.
Sometimes
either.
you have to have a story and you have to stick to it.
Yeah. That moisture in the air and stuff had everything out of whack.
And when that doesn't work, the fifth.
Yeah, the fifth. I don't know. Skin told me to do it. That's what I always did. I always just blame
I believe
Skin.
that wreck is on Snapchat.
Really?
I think everyone
made
was
a good
filming
TikTok
it.
video too. I was so far away, and that's when we knew it had happened, and we told Jason, but we couldn't see what it hit. It looked. I mean, if he missed that truck,
because he managed to.
I thought he
because
hit
the trailer.
I didn't know. I didn't hear
The
about
trailer
it.
is hooked up to the truck.
Of it
Yeah,
until
I
Jason
I
I thought he hit both. I definitely saw the trailer wiggle.
Wow.
But we were so far away in a tech barn, I just had known it had happened. So obviously we mentioned it to Jason, and his first reaction, I'm telling you, was like, "No, it couldn't have been."
Yeah,
I knew I hadn't transferred the title or anything yet, so I knew all that stuff was on
He's
me.
like, "Man, I dropped the insurance."
Well, that's what he said. When it went to Minnesota, he dropped it off at my place. I dropped the insurance on the car and everything. It's
Right. Took the plate
bad
off
choices.
of it. I was done. I
The
was
Fuel
done.
by Haters is bringing one to you guys.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
gonna paint? You're gonna
Yeah,
paint
that's a good project.
Yeah.
that was kind of a fun one. You guys, if you guys know who Fueled by Haters are out there, you know, follow them even more. If you don't know who they are, go take a look at them, man. That is a group of guys. They're
wild.
New York, though, correct?
Yeah,
New
I think
York.
so, right? Do you know?
I believe they're New York.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
down
yeah.
a little ways. They're New York. Tracy and those guys, awesome. They got some cool stuff going on. They love Demolition Derby. They love wrecking everything. It doesn't
They went
matter.
and bought mowers this week.
Yeah.
To run
Yeah, I don't know
mowers
what's
this
going on
weekend
there,
or something. Yeah.
Have you seen the derby that I believe they put on, and it's like called Backwoods
Yeah, it
something,
looked like
and
it's
it
in
is
the middle of
literally
the
in the
woods.
middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
no
it's like
bleachers.
like it goes like this, like the track.
There's
yeah.
a few junk cars on the outside. I'm like, whew, there's
Yeah, and they were getting it, dude. Like it was a derby.
That's when I seen that first one of that, you know, it's just like, it's like, oh yeah, you boys know how to have
Yeah,
fun.
they like to
All right.
party.
So I'm getting old. I'm getting brittle. You know, I mean, the good Lord has possessed me with extra weight for cushion, but it does not protect the inner body.
No,
you know,
no.
and yeah, you watch those guys go out there and have fun. It's like, you know what, I don't know if I'm quite to that level of craziness.
Oh
you know?
yeah, they're crazy.
But they're fun. God dang, they're fun. So
oh yeah.
so I bought that 73 from them, that red 73 Olds, and I said, all right, I said, I want you guys to have fun with it. I want this car to get famous. I said, you guys start tagging it up. You guys are going to bring it to Minnesota. You guys travel on in. We'll put some MWFA cars together for you guys. We're going to have a good time with this thing. This car's going to get famous this year. It's going to be at derbies. It's going to get tagged up. I want stickers on it. I want you
It's
guys
cool
to do
looking
your
car.
thing. And so I told him, I said, all right, you guys got to show me how good this thing runs. You know, so Nick, he does a video for me and everything. So he gets out there and I said, let me see this thing do a burnout, man. I said, bake the damn tires off this thing. So they had to go put some brake fluid or tranny fluid. It was a little low on tranny fluid.
That's awesome.
Typical 73, got a leaking tranny seal.
Seal's leaking.
So they fill her up and they take her out and they bake the shit out of it with that 455 just screaming. And it's like, perfect. I says, all right, this will make it to Minnesota, right? This will make a road travel. I'm in. This will do it, no problem.
That's
you know,
awesome.
so they had said they're going to put it on trailer, and then Tracy's like, no, we're driving this thing. It's
That's
like,
cool.
love it. It's even better yet. So those are the fun, cool things that TrackShotLive is jumping in with everybody else just to have fun all across this country,
Right.
just to bring unique things. It's not just on the track fun. It's behind the scenes. It's Christmas. It's this. It's that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Everything that we do to have fun in the Demolition Derby family, we want everybody to be part of.
Well, yeah. I mean, like look at the NDCNC guys in Cannonball. Them guys have
Right.
been harassing each other since Dead Man, and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
Some of the stuff that Anthony comes up with, and them guys, it's awesome. Just I like how they're having fun with it. Don't get me wrong; they're competitive guys in the parts world, but at least there's two companies that can take a joke. You
Yeah.
know, that's awesome. It makes everything a lot fun for everybody. I want to buy parts from guys like that I
Yep.
can relate with. You know what I mean? It's they're making it easy.
You know, Indy CNC after Sam Filippo, you know, we ship back, you know, a huge box, 2 boxes of parts. I mean, Jeffy Fab Farm, same thing, 2 huge boxes of parts to get those parts up to Minnesota to save people shipping, save everything like that. So as vendors, they're doing everything that they possibly can to keep it economical in different ways
Right.
and means and everything like that. In one thing here, granted, I know we're on Cash on the Hood here, but I want to talk TrackShotLive here for a second. I want to give a huge public shout out to all the sponsors, all the people that believe in us in TrackShotLive and throw us money. We've got private people giving us money this year.
Yep,
Bobby
awesome.
Brockway's taking care of the sponsorships and all that stuff, and we have private people donating $50, $100, just saying, hey, we want to put this into the kitty. We love what you guys are doing.
Mhm.
No, we love what you guys are doing because we're out here bringing you something out of love and passion to bring to you for free 99 across the world. But it is people like you that are making it happen for us. We
Absolutely.
can't do it on our own.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It's
Bob's
true.
been busy too with sponsors.
Bob's killing it, man.
Yeah, so if you
Doing
sponsors want to get on that, you better hit up
Yeah.
Bobby because they're going fast.
That's what we've been doing. Is we've been going to dinners.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
so
last
we-
night was great.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
we're doing
last
a
night
lunch
was
at
501.
Stevens.
Yeah, old Todd Siopa.
Yeah, so we started the week with Casey Smith there, Smith Metalworks. Went out to dinner
Chase.
with him.
Yeah, I couldn't get in town for that one. I'd
and
really
then
liked to
last
went to
night
that.
we had Todd with Todd had the menus changed. The header of the menu at Morton Steakhouse. It says MWCC saves Christmas.
It was awesome. It was
so
good.
we
That
got
place
to
was
keep like
good,
8
too.
menus
Oh, it's
just as
straight.
a
It was
souvenir.
good.
pretty sweet.
Way
Yeah.
to go, Todd. So
Yeah,
you
you
got
ever ate
to.
at Morton's?
I've never been there.
You're going to have to top that, Stephen.
Man, that's
Yeah,
good.
How you gonna
stuff.
top
Tomorrow is it's your
You're
it's your
going to go to the
time
Chinese
shine.
buffet tomorrow and like put our name up on the little thing out front.
Fatty's been to my Applebee's.
Yep, that I have.
So this was actually an introduction to you know, Steven Sickles saying like, I want to be a big sponsor of TrackShot
Yeah,
Live.
yeah,
This was the
yeah.
introductory right
Yeah.
there, folks. You're hearing it live as to
Sickles, just throw your wallet
Yeah,
out
just
there.
throw that on the cash.
Told
on
you
the
that'd be
hood.
disappointing in
Just
the
throw that wallet
episode.
out. I got a converter in the truck. I'm gonna see if Sickles and Ticks will fight over here.
I'm gonna go out underneath that new Chevy out there, cut those
Hey,
new
leave that Chevy
HDs
alone.
out.
All right, go to the next episode. They're talking about.
That's exactly where I was about to break her down right
reached out to
there.
me this. So he's doing a good job at he's definitely putting in an effort for you guys this year.
Yeah.
You know,
Love it.
so
Bob's
Track
great.
Shot Live this year is we are a co-op. We are 100% a co-op. There is, Josh Decker did a little bit too much than he could handle last year, and the rest of us didn't do our part. Decker was awesome at firing people. He did great with Bobby and
Fatty.
Yeah, he got me a
so
few
he did
times.
good. The HR portion of
Yes.
Josh Decker was just fine, but there were some things that we lacked
Especially on
on.
Mondays, I've heard.
Yeah.
So we're super excited this year. We're pulling it in. We are working as a co-op, and you know what? We have all of you out there that are our bosses. Tell us what we need to do. Tell
Yeah,
us where
absolutely.
we need to be and everything like that. And we'll actually talk to Steven's wife. We'll get the money from her.
Yeah, and if there's anything you
Oh,
don't
nice
like,
wife.
call Ticks.
Here we
Ticks
go.
is pushing things here.
yeah.
All right, let's pause right there. So check it out. That was episode number 2. We have enough time to have a third bonus episode. So everyone here that's listening on Cash on the Hood on your favorite audio platform, you're going to have a third episode, which is super great. So let me give a shout out real quick to our man Brian Cottington back there behind the decks. His Cinema Psychos show is fantastic. You want to check that out on all podcast platforms. Our man Gerardo in Mexico making sure the videos look good. So when my main man Steven Sickles, send us out, Ticks.
Man, I gotta say, it's Cash on the Hood. We're having fun here for you guys. Loving it, living it, dreaming it. That's what we are.